to check my makeup. I want to make sure I don't look too grotty. I was just sweeping the ceiling of the stable, hey? So it's been raining on me.
You look lovely.
Look okay?
You look fine.
Hi.
It's been a while since we had some pussy stroking.
Yes. Yes. We haven't really found the pussy stroking audience yet. We certainly found the horse pooping, pissing, and farting audience, but the pussy stroking audience is, I don't know. Maybe we should do more of it.
Okay.
That's okay with you?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Anyway, the pussies don't mind. They don't mind the stroking, that's for sure. Right? Right, Bolt? You Bolt? You snuck in the house this morning. You bad cat. You're a barn cat, not a house cat. Didn't they even tell you that? Hey? You're crossing the boundary. See, he lost his big belly, eh? You see that? See how slim? And we slimmed down. Remember, he was just this butterball, this tub of a kitten. He could hardly climb anything or jump. He had such a big belly. Even when he got his balls chopped, he was considered obese by the vet. Now he looks fine. Real transformation. Yeah, it's possible. Transformation is possible. In fact, you can't stop it. It's happening all the time. So this is about chi and change, and how to change your chi. The gardens are lovely this year, just lovely, lush and fruitful and full of chi. What is chi? What you need is a chi finder and then a chi meter. You need to be able to find your chi and measure it. Well, chi is not hard to find. In fact, you can't live without it. It is that which sustains your existence. The totality of your existence is sustained by chi. In yoga, we'd call it prana. Well, it's a big topic. It's almost talking about all and everything. That's the problem. Even talking about these topics is that it's hard to parse them, hard to break them up into their component bits. Because where were we? What part of the rabbit hole hadn't we explored yet?
Chi.
Chi.
Prana.
Kundalini. Chi is a lot like the electricity in your walls of your dwelling, right? There's a plug, there's a receptacle, there's a thing on the wall, and nothing is happening. It's totally inactive, and as soon as you plug the appropriate device into it and then turn that device on, all of a sudden a huge amount of energy is flowing. Where was that before you plugged it in? Where was that energy? It was there. It was, in physics you'd call it potential energy, but as far as energy is concerned, potential or actual, there's really no difference. If it's potential, it could be actualized. If it's been actualized, it could create new potentialities. It's the cycle of creation, moving from potentials to actuals and back to potentials again. And that endless, if you throw the ball fast enough, it turns into something which is real on another level than it was before. So anyway, chi is magical in a way, perfectly natural, inescapable. It's, of course, all around us. It is the foundation of life, of all life forms. Every organism, even even what we consider to be inanimate objects like minerals are, part of the cycle of qi that moves endlessly through creation. And that gives form to patterns. A pattern is just a pattern. It needs a form, something to formalize it, to materialize it, in order for it to become real on this level of things, right, and stuff. So there's a river, an ocean, a tsunami, an unbelievable force of qi moving through the universe that animates everything, and as in provides the means and the method whereby motion may be obtained. And then on top of that, it's a self-reflective force. It's not just some kind of a blind impulse when we're talking about qi. We're talking about intelligence. Funny thing about qi is you can't bottle it, you can't contain it. It can flow through you, but we ourselves have no claim on it, of course. We can't trap it or even store it for later use. It's an instantaneous reality. It only is real in the now, the instant of creation, which we're experiencing as a sequence of separate occurrences. But it's actually only one instant of creation, is simultaneous throughout all of creation, and the rest are subdivisions of that, right?
Right.
Right. But it is possible to manipulate qi. And if not store it, at least forever, at least for extended periods of time. The cutting edge of physics is trapping light, which is a pretty bizarre concept when you think about it. Light. How do you trap light? Light is this, it's like gone. It's totally energetic, and even trying to bottle it up, you end up with an explosive force, as in lasers and so on. But through clever manipulation of materials, they're able to trap light for hours, and then release it. So anyway, you can do the same with qi, but you're not really, it's just a temporary solution. So qi is very important to us personally, for our personal well-being. We need to know, understand, and honor our qi, our personal qi, which is only a tiny, 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 infinitesimally small portion of the total amount of qi which is available to us at any instant in time through the usual channels of connection. But before you plug into that source, you have to make sure that you have the right equipment to handle the voltage, because it's huge, huge. It's going into the domain of regeneration and recycling, which is all part of the general process of reality. Nothing goes to waste. There's no waste in the universe, right? There's no such thing as a waste. It's not a concept that exists at the universal level, right? It doesn't make any sense. A senseless word makes no sense. But just think about it, that millions of stars had to be born, have a life, and explode in a supernovas before we could even think about having a carbon-based organic life experience on a small chunk of rock located about the right distance from one of the longer-lived types of suns that doesn't actually go boom and seed the rest of the universe. Yeah. Anyway, most of the heavens that we see, not the Milky Way, our local galaxy, but almost all the rest of it is actually uninhabited. It's just getting started. We're part of the first stage of creation that involves seeding, planets and star systems and so on. But it's a long range. There's a long range vision behind all of this, if you can think about it. Well, first we're going to create, 1,000 trillion stars that will have a life, a short life, and then they will just pow, blow themselves to smithereens, and they will spread everything that's needed for life through all the rest of the universe, so that we can then sit around on our little speck of dust at the edge of creation and film it all, and then put it on YouTube, and see who's listening, who's out there, who wants to know this stuff. Is anybody interested? It's funny. I mean, the information is freely available. That's the curse of the internet, the blessing and the curse of the internet. Yes, it's all out there, but you don't know what you don't know. That's the conundrum. If you don't know something and you don't know it, then
You also don't know
oops.
how to look for it.
Yes, you have no way of searching for that which you don't know.
And once you
Well,
know
you
you
don't
don't know,
know.
then
Yeah.
it's fine. Then you know.
Yeah, well, it's easy to get confused, especially when you think you know.
So for true awakening, you need a catalyst.
Yes. You need a midwife. You need assistance. Yes. So if you're interested in augmenting the amount of chi you already have, and of course everybody starts out with an enormous amount of chi at their disposal. That's what we call it. We're children. We're exuberant. We're growing physically. We're growing psychologically. We're growing spiritually. We go through this tremendous growth phase in a relatively short period of time. 20 years. It's nothing in cosmic time. Nothing at all. And we go through a whole, starting as a little tiny cell. So you couldn't even see it. So tiny. So if you're going to augment the amount of chi that you have, okay, there are many different methods. Okay? You can increase the amount of chi in the food that you consume, in the air that you breathe, and in the water that you drink, the basic constituents that go up to make your physical form, that which you are needing at the moment. In order to be able to have this experience, you need to keep the equipment operative, tuned up, and in good repair. Okay? Feed it with the right fuel, lubricate it properly, get the right drugs at the right time. Anna May was talking about this the other day. Exercise and music as transformative experiences, and actually necessary for health and well-being. They're essential to well-being. They are actually the source of well-being, if you trace it right back to why these experiences make you feel good. Yeah. Okay. So let's focus on that. Things that make you feel good, as opposed to addictive substances and various forms of self-abuse that you may have learned as a behavior at some point in your life. I don't talk about those as good feelings, but when you get to the really good feeling place that feels good all over, it just makes you feel toasty, warm and fuzzy, and just go-fifi as hell. Yeah. As human beings, we have access to the wisdom of all who came before us. And we have access to that by virtue of actually being alive now and being connected to all of that came before us, right down to the slime at the bottom of the ocean at the beginning. That's all there was, baby. Just us slime. Slime balls. We were slime balls. We are slime balls. We come from slime. We come from slime balls.
And to slime we shall return.
Yeah, and to slime we shall return. Yep. It's the best. It's the best. It's the ancestor. You know, you have to honor your ancestors. So, you know, we can bow before the ooze and the slime, and as our great teachers and progenitors, who made it possible for us to be able to sit in the Garden of Eden and enjoy the delights of creation.
So, qi, movement.
Movement, that's the thing about qi. You can store it, but it has to be stored in something elastic. It can't be stored in something which is rigid. It has to be a dynamic container. It's like these fusion reactors, right? The physicists have been trying to create fusion reactors forever, years, decades, whole careers have gone by, and physicists are still working on it because it's not easy, right? Trapping that energy in a bottle with energy, okay? So you can do that. You can trap qi, but it takes qi to trap the qi. You see, you got to be able to divert some of it. So you have to produce excess to your fundamental biological needs. There's a certain amount of qi that's required to keep your machinery and your mind and your consciousness and everything functioning as a composite unit so that you can have an experience. All these different levels of reality have to actually connect at a quantum level in order for you to have an experience of any kind, and let alone a human experience. I was a Tai Chi instructor for years. I consider my every activity to be Tai Chi. If I move, I'm doing Tai Chi. Okay? It's a way of augmenting and gathering energy from the world around you, you know, and then you can keep some of it, or you can direct it to a certain place, you know, or you can just let it flow through you as a gift to the rest of the universe. I don't need all this. You just go right through. It just goes right through. It just flows right through. Now, the kind of funny part about Tai Chi, or it's a Chinese art grounded in Taoist philosophy. And Taoist philosophy is grounded in the interplay of the contrasting elements that come from the same source. So it's all about relationships. So there's a contrast in Tai Chi between the stillness at your center and the movement at your edges. You're aligning yourself with the fundamental orientation of the flow of creative energy in the universe, which is perfectly still at the center, motionless, what we would call eternity, or the absolute level. perfectly still, and yet at the periphery there's endless motion and movement. And at the center it's always perfectly still, so any discrete subunit of the whole that aligns itself with that orientation will vibrate in harmony or resonance with the vibration that underlies the whole of creation. And that's a very rejuvenating alignment. Okay? And that's why you see all these nonagenarians, 90-year-olds in China doing Tai Chi in the park in the morning, because they keep the Qi flowing. This is nice with the thunderstorms around. These thunderstorms have been circling in the background over there, the south and west of us. We've been hearing them, but there's been no rain, which is interesting, and not much of a wind either. One of the other funny things about Tai Chi is that the slower you do it, the more benefits you get from it. So most of your Qi is going to be stored in this area. Yeah, if we were doing Kirlian photography, do you know Kirlian photography? It's where you put a super high voltage across an object and then expose a photographic plate to it. And you can see the energetic form of it has to be something alive if you want to see much. But you can see Qi in Kirlian photography. I can certainly feel it. It feels like something warm and fluffy. It's a snack, Qi snack. No, you can use Qi as healing energy, either hands-on massage or Reiki, where you're stroking through a person's energy field. Of course, we all have morphogenetic fields that project quite a distance from our physical form, usually 2 meters at least, sometimes 3. It depends on your personal Qi and where you live. If you live in the city, people tend to keep their personal Qi bubble fairly compact because you're always, bumping up against everybody else's Qi bubble, right? All the time. So out here it's not so much of an issue. You can let your I keep a pretty big level of consciousness, a bubble of consciousness around me at all times, because it's quiet. It's pretty quiet here, and there's no crowds, and it's just a few of us and a few animals and lots of plants and the sky, a lot of sky.
Do you want to talk about sex?
I know. Well, chi and sex are very closely related. Sex and sexual energy is, of course, a segment of the whole topic of chi. Chi is a big topic that covers the whole universe and everything that's in it. That's chi. But sex energy, of course, is very closely connected to chi. Is, as far as we're concerned, our chi. It's our power to project ourselves into the future, even though this physical form is going to decay and compost. The experience is primal, fundamental, of course. It runs through the whole of life. Sex is a big deal, guys, for every living thing, for sure. And for humans, it gets all messed up because we're animals. Yeah, we're animals. That's true. We're beasts. Then we're also way more than that. We think about these things. They bother us. We have words like morality, ethics. What do they mean? We have words. We have so many words. What do all these words mean? Think of the millions and millions of words whose meanings you don't even know yet, or are the words that haven't even come into existence yet because there's no corresponding, artifact in the local level here to require a word for it that doesn't exist yet, because the artifact doesn't exist yet, or the concept hasn't crossed over from wherever the concepts live before they show up.
Are we still talking about sex?
Yeah, well, I'm saying that we're biological beings. We're programmed to reproduce as that's one of our fundamental purposes of showing up as sex creatures capable of reproducing. We're made that way, is that we should reproduce. We are intended, we're built to reproduce. You know what I mean? That was the whole, the reason for the whole, all the apparatus being created this way.
But sweetheart, why do we have sex, since I clearly cannot bear children anymore?
No, but sex is also, for humans, it's also a mental experience. It's an experience entirely in our minds, just not having any relationship at all to the reproductive function that we're performing here as part of the whole, the whole of life on Earth. We're doing our part. Whether we do it consciously or unconsciously, it doesn't matter. We're participating in the reproduction of life forms on this planet in all their glory and beauty and stupidity. Speaking mostly of the higher primates, as being so somewhat deficient in these greater levels of understanding that would then enable us to make so much more sense out of the nonsense that we're experiencing. And so right now, that people call, this is normal. We do this all the time. No, it's total nonsense. You know what I mean? But anyway, the sex centers can serve a wide variety of purposes in humans. Okay, yes, they can augment our reproductive capabilities, definitely, the sex centers. But the sex centers can also animate other aspects of our life that have nothing to do with reproduction, reproducing offspring, but have to do with bonding and relationships and finding your place in the world. Connection, using that energy to make connections without using it to further your reproductive abilities. Okay. Also, just in any creative endeavor, art or music or dance, or politics. Politics is pretty dull, I must admit, compared to, say, Britney Spears, you know what I mean? Joe Biden, Kamala Harris.
I like Kamala. She's a firecracker. She's cute like pie.
She's great.
And
great.
she has a lot of chi. I find
like
her very sexy.
She's a good woman. She's a womanly woman. She is exemplary in that position. So I hope she becomes the next president.
Me too.
We'll see.
Yeah. Anyway, let's not get off topic. Because I still want to hear more about sex, honey.
Well, sex is, it's good for you. Just not an easy topic. There's a lot of taboos still. Plenty. Plenty of taboos. Lines that you just can't cross in polite society or any society. Well, you can have it all. You can have a fantastic physical experience, fantastic and mind-blowing at the same time, being just taking you and your partner to places you never knew existed until you found the secret trap door somewhere in the back of the tunnel that nobody had ever told you about, and you went down into the other level, and it was like, wow, that's amazing. And at the same time, you can be focused on a united, a common spiritual vision that you're holding in your hearts while you're having this intense physical experience, accompanied by incredible emotional response, and at the same time, just super exciting your pleasure centers. It's like, okay, so that's that's the essence of tantric sex. So you can have it all, but if you don't have a suitable partner to create that symbiotic union which enables the two of you to go, into these other dimensions that are always there, but so hard to reach. Tuning your radio, you gotta tune your dial. This one is not coming in very clearly. The signals are far off.
How do you know this shit?
Through personal experience. That's the only way. Read all the books you want. Well, I read plenty about how to have this experience. But, I was, after, a lot of false starts, able to actually to have this experience and to have it, be able to replicate it. Not at will, but, regularly enough that it keeps me motivated, to keep my chi level reasonable in spite of my advanced age. Anyway, it's all about the chi, baby. All this talking makes me hungry.
I thought it would make you horny.
Horny? No, well. There's another thing about my age, is that it's food first. Food before sex. It's just being practical. If I don't fuel up, I won't have the juice to
drive you up then.